Knowing which pieces of the King's equipment we should max can be so confusing. And if we haven't bought them yet with gems, then which piece should we buy? Is it the giant gauntlet? Is it the spiky ball? Is it the snake bracelet? First, we're going to look at each piece on an individual basis, and then we're going to tell you what combos are best to help you 3-star on a regular basis. For years and years, we had the Barbarian Puppet and the Rage Vial for the King, and that's all that we had. But then other pieces were introduced, which changed absolutely everything. We now had the Earthquake Boots, the Vamp Stash, and the big one, which was the first piece of epic equipment introduced in the Giant Gauntlet. But was that original set of hero equipment good? If we used it today, then 44 Rage Barbarians would pop out of the King doing massive damage everywhere, and the King himself would get big and mad with the Rage Vial. And if we wanted to use the Barbarian Puppet, it does offer 1386 in health recovery and a 3366 HP increase. But unfortunately, the Barbarians die pretty quickly, although they can serve as a quick distraction, which could be useful in some situations. Also, oftentimes in the old days, players would time the Warden's Tome with the Barbarian Puppet and could see massive damage through a giant cloud of tomed Rage Barbarians. But the recent change on how Barbarians are trickled out slowly inadvertently nerfed this massively strong move. The Rage Vial does offer a straight up 128 DPS increase, as well as 1890 in health recovery, not to mention the damage and speed increase for 10 seconds. And when there was a time when these two pieces did pretty well and might have been good, the reality is there have been other pieces introduced since the beginning days of Clash of Clans that can do much better than they can. So that's a big no on both of these pieces of equipment. The next piece on our list is the Vamp Stash. And while its stats are pretty slim, it does offer 300 healing per hit. And it has a 22% speed increase, which ensures the King stays alive for a lot longer. And with the King on his own doing 643 DPS, the longer he can stay on the battlefield means the more damage his massive swinging sword can do. So while it's not the best piece of King's equipment in my opinion, it can serve a useful purpose in combinations, which we're going to be looking at next, which means that it's okay to level up. Fourth, we have the Earthquake Boots. And while they were initially shunned by the majority of the player base, including myself, the reality is their usefulness cannot be overstated, especially during ground attacks. They also offer a 102 DPS increase and a 2500 HP increase. So Earthquake Boots definitely get a big yes when we're deciding what pieces of King's equipment we should upgrade. Next, we have the 3 pieces of epic equipment in the Giant Gauntlet, the Spiky Ball, and the Snake Bracelet. And while the Giant Gauntlet is extremely powerful on its own, especially with the 17 seconds of incoming damage reduction, the reality is it doesn't work as well as it did at Town Hall 16, with all that high DPS coming in from Town Hall 17 defenses. The Spiky Ball does 3250 in damage to 8 targets. That's 26,000 in damage, in addition to giving a 222 DPS increase and a 3,290 HP increase. Because of the immediate and extremely destructive damage that it offers, along with the bonus DPS and HP, the Spiky Ball is, in my opinion, the most powerful piece of King's equipment overall, especially when combined with the Earthquake Boots. In fact, the Earthquake Boots Spiky Ball combo can destroy so many buildings on the map in an instant, giving it a distinct advantage over the other pieces. Now, the Earthquake Boots did receive a pretty massive nerf several months ago, but if we are sending the king into the base and we can get him in the right spot where when we smash that ability, not only can we destroy lots of buildings, but we can also gain access to other parts of the base that our troops can reach, then this is still going to be the absolute #1 best combo. Lastly, we have the Snake Bracelet. And while it's taken a little while for this piece to catch on with a majority of players, the reality is the distraction and damage offered by the snakes also makes it one of the best pieces of equipment as well. And in addition to the 54 snakes that are summoned when this piece is max, it also offers a small DPS and attack speed increase, but the HP increase is massive at 4,050, which is the best of any of the king's equipment. And as we said earlier, a king that can stay alive longer is a king that continue doing a ton of damage. Now the big question is, which pieces should we max out first, and should we spend gems on any epic pieces for the king? The absolute best combo for any ground attack if we need to open up walls, and also the pieces I personally use the most and recommend we max out first, are the Earthquake Boots and the Spiky Ball. Yes, this means if we do not yet have the Spiky Ball, then I do recommend we spend 1,500 gems to buy it, or snag it from the CWL Metal Shop if it ever appears there. The Earthquake Spiky Ball combo is great for smash attacks where we can get the king into the base to do a ton of immediate damage, which happens to be all of my attacks. Now, a close second for upgrading purposes is going to be the Spiky Ball and the Snake Bracelet combo. But upgrading these two epic pieces at the same time could be a massive challenge with all the starry ore that will be required to do so. And it would only work on bases as well, where we don't need the Earthquake Boots to open up those walls. Now, if we are primarily doing air attacks, then my recommendation does change. While typically I'd recommend we replace the king with the Minion Prince for any dragon attack, for example, if we are using the king in an air attack because our Minion Prince may be upgrading, or maybe we just like using the king for air attacks, then my recommendation would also be the Snake Bracelet and the Spiky Ball. But if we are only upgrading one epic at a time, I'd recommend the Snake Bracelet primarily, and the Vamp Stash. Since in a lot of air attacks, the king stays around the outside of the base, the Vamp Stash ensures that he can stay alive much longer, and the snakes can jump over the wall to destroy any pesky defenses bothering the king as he does his king wall. So for the king, again, I would primarily upgrade the Earthquake Boots and the Spiky Ball, mainly because only upgrading one epic piece of hero equipment at a time is going to be the easiest, and those Earthquake Boots just do a lot of damage and really open up the base for us. But if you're wanting the most powerful pieces of equipment and you're willing to put the time and energy into the Snake Bracelet, then go ahead and add that and upgrade the Snake Bracelet along with the Spiky Ball and the Earthquake Boots. And again, if we are primarily going to use the king with air style attacks, then my recommendation is we upgrade the Snake Bracelet first and the Vamp Stash, but we limit it to those two if we're only doing air attacks, so that way we don't have to focus on too many pieces of equipment at once. Now, many players are free to play, and it's then that I'd recommend we upgrade the Vamp Stash and the Earthquake Boots in anticipation of the day where we can save up to 1,500 gems to buy that Spiky Ball. As in my opinion, it's completely worth it. Now, if we're not going to spend any gems on any piece of equipment at all ever, then honestly, any of the 4 common pieces will work. So I would pick the ones that I like the best or might work best in the types of attacks that I'm using, given the examples I've shown so far. Now, as always, the pieces of equipment that I have recommended and that I have said are not good is totally based on my personal opinion. If you have a combo of King's equipment that is working for you, then by all means continue to use it. If we're getting 3 stars, then that's the point and that's the goal. Let me know which particular pieces of the King's equipment you are going to be upgrading in the comments below. Also, we will be putting out a video for the Queen's equipment very soon, so make sure that you're subscribed. And if you're looking for a video where I talk about each of the different pieces of equipment as they've come out, then check out this playlist. There are a ton of videos that you can peruse and hopefully they're helpful. Until the next video, my name is TipDog20. I'll see you then.